there's also no denying it because he has a very well-known voice. He represents, when all the girlies are like, oh, it's time for like cozy football season and all that. Like his voice is one of the voices you hear when you think football Sunday.
He calls his publicist and he says, hey, can we deny this? And his publicist is like, all right, here, listen to the audio. And it's just him going, it's me, Shannon Sharpe, laying down the pipe on this bitch. Oh yeah, take that Club Shay Shay dick. So Nicki Minaj and Cardi B have been on the forefront of just over the top sexual straight commentary of like, I'm gonna ride that dick, my pussy's so wet. And now I feel like the lesbian side of that is coming into play, where Chappell Roan and Billie Eilish are just like, I'll eat your pussy in a McDonald's drive-thru. Like, no, there's never been lesbian songs like that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful time to be alive. I feel so seen. I feel so just thrilled every time I listen to a new song and I hear a lyric like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's me. That's my life.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about the logistics of lesbian roadhead because obviously
knee deep in the passenger seat.
So that's like your face has to be buried essentially because you have nothing sticking up.
Yeah. So okay, I have seen TikToks of people showing how they get knee deep in the passenger seat. Which is possible in a normal car. Like, so basically what they do, this is not, I learned actually today that I don't think that's what Chappell Roan did. But I'll tell you, so basically in the passenger seat, if I'm sitting in the passenger seat and somebody wants to get knee deep, like I'd have to put the seat all the way back.
Yeah.
And then they'd have to like come in and get on like the ground.
Okay.
On their knees. Like I would have to push the seat all the way back, lean back, like so they have a room and then they get all crouched down.
Okay, so that person, their back would be touching the glove compartment, basically.
Yeah, but that is how people thought that it was. But if you look at
you're basically dead if you get in an accident at that point.
Well, you park the car, the driver's knee deep.
Oh, so that's right. I'm like, there's 3 girls in the car. One's driving. 2 are one's giving roadhead with her knees on the floor.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Okay. So I'm thinking, because to me, true roadhead needs to be able to be performed while driving. So one person's passenger seat, one person's driving.
I see what you're saying.
Whatever orientation of that you want to take.
Yeah.
You can take, but someone has to be driving the car or else it's just like movie, like drive-in head.
Yes, so I see what you're saying. Now, I recently discovered if you look at the single like cover album art or the single art, Chappell's sitting in like kind of a more old school, think of like an old school truck that has like a bench as the whole front seat.
Okay, so it's 3 across in the front. Okay.
So that makes it make a lot more sense how you could be knee deep in the passenger seat. Then you could do roadhead because you'd have more space to actually get on your knees on the seat.
So the passenger gets up and they're sort of in the middle part of the front bench and their head is in between the legs of the driver.
Yes, I still don't advise actual roadhead while you're driving. I think it's extremely dangerous.
Yeah. That takes a lot of neck contortion.
I don't even think it can happen when you're driving. You can't actually do that because you kind of sit on your vagina. Like as a girl, like you sit, like you can't, you have to like angle, you got to lay back and like angle up,
Well, if vaginas were where I thought they were when I was 12 years old, just sort of like a little bit below, like a little bit below the belly button.
Yeah.
All the movies, like there's so many softcore scenes where people are just standing face to face in the shower, and it looks like they're just the guy's just pounding into her stomach. And I didn't realize how hard that position actually was until I got into the game myself.
Yeah.
But now that I know the position of the average vagina, you have some outliers. There might be some more.
Everybody's different.
More vages set up for roadhead style, where it's just like closer to the belly button.
That's true.
Just built for roadhead. But yeah, your face would have to get so low between the legs, even if you were just going for some clit action,
just a little lick.
Yeah, because there's no dick standing up, so it's like that gives you a little more leeway. But you'd have to like sort of be a dragon with your head, like like you get there, but then you're like contorting your head down, sort of like there's like a Taylor Swift video where they make fun of her breaking up with Travis Kelce, and then Taylor Swift turns into like this like and like her head extends. That's what I'm thinking of, like your neck.
What video, or is this just in your head?
No, it's there's a video of Travis Kelce breaking up with Taylor Swift. It's an animated video.
Oh, it's fake.
It's made by completely made up. It's made by guys. They make fun of everything. Like there's one on Lil Baby. They do a lot of music stuff. Okay. Let me just look up video Travis Kelce, because I should say who it is. But you'll find meet something. Meet Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce.
Not Meatloaf.
Meat Canyon.
I was close.
Meat Canyon made this video.
Meat Canyon?
Yes.
Like meat as in like a steak, a hearty meal.
I think it's just your selection. Whatever you want a meat to be, where it's fitting into a canyon.
Okay.
It's up to you to decide. But they made an animated video where Travis Kelce breaks up with Taylor Swift, and he's on the football field, and then all the fans in the crowd are Swifties, and then they're connected to the mind hive of Taylor Swift, and all the Swifties are looking over at Taylor Swift to see how they're gonna react. And then Taylor Swift starts to...
I'm getting... She turns into like Godzilla almost.
And Travis Kelce goes, I don't know I don't know if this is working out. And Taylor Swift just looks at him and goes...
He's not breaking up with her.
And her neck gets super long. That's what I imagine your neck would have to do to give good lesbian roadhead, is like... you got to have almost like a tripod, like an extra thing you could click out. To like
you gotta
extend
have
your
like
neck and
be double jointed.
Yeah, an extendo neck.
Well, if anyone can do it, it's the lesbians. We've always had to be creative.
Yeah,
because it's just in our nature. So
for sure,
I love the time we're in now.
100%, just equal opportunity heads
absolutely
in music.
Yes.
Portrayals, I love it.
Yes, exactly.
So you said you might have a story.
Well, it was more, this is so far from where we just were, but it was more of something that happened to me on my way here. I was leaving my apartment in Harlem.
Okay.
Which, as we know, is very famously Black.
Yeah.
And I was walking to the train.
Statistically, probably just being in the city surrounded by thousands of people on every block, someone's probably getting some sort of roadhead while you were leaving. So that's like the tie-in.
Well, I wish
story.
Maybe this man that yelled something out the window to me, I wish he was getting or giving roadhead so he wouldn't have said anything.
Okay. Someone mouthed off.
Yeah. So I'm just like minding my business. It's a beautiful day. I'm feeling fine.
It is.
I'm walking to the train.
Spectacular day today.
I'm wearing my sunglasses. Whenever somebody says a slur or cat calls or does anything to me, I assume I must look good that day.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I must have caught their attention somehow.
Yeah. I mean, you're rocking you were rocking the shades. You got the gold chain.
I'm just living my life.
Looking good as fuck, just living it up.
I actually just didn't. I'm just wearing a t-shirt.
Yeah. But you're rocking the shit out of that Panama City Beach
that's
t-shirt.
That's fucking right. So I'm rounding the corner on my way to the ABCD subway line. And this man yells very aggressively out the window to me, "Stay out of Harlem, honky."
Okay.
And I kind of immediately was like, what the
Please tell
fuck?
me he was white.
Well, the thing is, Zach, I was confused because he looked white passing. Like he definitely was. It was a moving car. So And I actually, my prescription sunglasses, I just lost my newer pair in the ocean on vacation. So these aren't even up-to-date prescriptions. So I couldn't even like see that well.
That's hilarious. You squinting to just see the racial validation of the slur. You're like, wait, can he say that? Sorry, sir. Could you get a little bit closer? I'm just have my prescriptions in the mail. Just need you to.
Yeah.
Okay, you can say that. All right.
Well, I'm assuming was not white. He looked white passing.
Okay.
But he's probably light skinned or Latina or something, because I said, what the fuck? Like right away out loud, because I had never heard of this term in my life. I didn't even know what it meant.
Oh, you never heard honky?
I never heard that before.
So
I know what it means now because I Googled it, and I obviously immediately assumed that he was yelling a slur to me, but I never had heard it before.
It's like the equivalent of cracker.
Yeah.
It means the same thing. It's like a synonym of cracker, if you will.
Yes.
If you're looking, pull out your racial dictionary, folks, and mark down cracker.
People kind of still say cracker, but I've never heard honky in my life. And when I Googled it, it was like something that was kind of more popular in like the 50s and, way back when. Like I never heard it in my life.
Maybe he was just watching some film noir or something, or like True Detective, something that took place back then. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? And then two women they were also passing me because he yelled it really loud. And I was just like, what? Because I'm learning something new today.
Yeah.
And then these women were like stupid, like, to him.
They're like stupid honky.
they start beating me up.
You thought they were going to defend you.
No, well, like they were just like, this guy's stupid.
Yeah, they were giving you like the look of like, just like keep going, like fuck that guy. Yeah.
It didn't, when you don't know what something means, I was just like, what? And I just, also, this is not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
It's not my first rodeo.
And honky tonk
is
a rodeo.
Well, that's the thing,
word.
Zach, was that once I Googled it and stuff and kind of understood the origin, I was like, well, I guess I am about that honky tonk badonk donk. I guess I fit the part.
Yeah. He could have been saying like, stay out of here, honky, because that ass is turning me on too much.
I've
never seen that fat of a honky ass before.
Yeah.
Get at it. I have a wife and kids. Get your honky ass out of Harlem.
He spent too much time at the honky tonk. Like he had too much to drink. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because I learned something new today. I never heard it before in my life. And out of all slurs I've been called, I have to admit it's probably my favorite.
Yeah, it's got a good sound to it. Honky.
I'm like, I do like honky tonk badonk donk.
It's like
I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
And as you should be. It's no big deal. It's honky to me is like a fun version, or not a version, but like a cunt is just like straight. It's brutal, it's cold. If you call someone a cunt, if you don't have an Australian accent, it's not fun. If you do have an Australian accent, it's like, you can't, like, it's more of a fun vibe.
I like that word, but
honky is like, it starts off harsh, like cunt, like honk, but then the E mellows it out, like honky. It's got like a playful ending to it. Whitey, honky.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I also ate an edible last night, and I think some of it's still kind of in my system.
And you were imagining the guy calling you a honky?
No, I was just like, it was very, I was just like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I just accepted it. But I wanted to share that because I think there are people out there that have never heard that before. I've never heard that in my life. I've heard of honky tonk.
Yeah.
I've never heard of calling a white person a honky.
What other characteristics do you remember about him? You think he was like half black? But
no
like
idea. Like
clothing,
he was bald.
Car. You said he was in a car?
Yes.
Do you know what type of car it was?
So he was in the passenger seat.
Okay.
Unfortunately, nobody was knee deep for him.
Pickup truck?
No, it was like a SUV, like something like
Cybertruck. That'd have been wild.
No, just like Toyota, Honda. I don't fucking know. Like a silver SUV. he was like he was turning at the corner. I was walking. So we were both kind of going at the corner, and he just like yelled it out. What I do know is he was hideous, ugly.
Age about, do you know?
Anywhere from like 30 to 50.
So not a teenager.
No, this is a grown man with a very smooth brain.
Okay.
Like incredibly ugly, incredibly stupid.
I was thinking maybe it could have been a high school bet or like kids riding around. They're like, next white person we see, call him a honky.
No, that's the thing is that kids don't say things like that because kids aren't fucking stupid. Like, they're not. I've never had a kid ever call me a slur, ever. Never a teen, nothing. I've only had full-grown men ever say things like that to me.
Okay. I mean, I've definitely had kids say things about me walking past me on the sidewalk where, like, I didn't hear exactly what it was, but as soon as I passed, someone said something and they all started laughing, like cackling out loud. And
they probably called you a honky.
And it's probably my own, psychotic
you were
brain
back at the school playground, like hearing kids snickering about, and you were like, they're making fun of me.
I'm having a middle school flashback. But no doubt in my mind, like, because I know if I was 14 and I walk past, some guy that like 30 years old, because when someone's 30 and you're 14, like
they're old
I look
shit.
58 to these kids. So like there's no difference between me and like a guy in a business suit that's like about to retire. It's all the same shit. So I know if I walked past me, I might say,
if I was a kid, I might make fun of you, but
100%.
I don't feel like kids, first of all, as a woman, I do feel like kids weirdly kind of respect women like a little bit, or they're not going to say anything because they know their mama will beat their fucking ass. But I don't know. I've never had a kid say anything to me. I just know I could remember the faces of like every grown man that said something nasty to me. And it's always grown men because they obviously are projecting. I must be very attractive. They're probably sad that they can't get it in. They can't hit this honky tonk badonkin tonk. I do know
deep
like
in that honky tonk bar.
I know that just as a tall white queer woman, I seem to agitate grown men that can't comprehend why they can't stick it in. Like they're like, very smooth brained, very stupid. So they just shout things like wild animals.
Yeah. It could also be, I mean, so the fact that he was in the car makes me,
I'm like, are you drunk at 1 p.m. on a Friday?
I mean, it's entirely possible. If it was a Friday,
he definitely looked like the type of guy to drink like the nastiest, sugariest, like he's drinking like Four Loko and like smoking menthols.
Yeah.
And he's probably wearing like an Ed Hardy shirt or a wife beater.
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, it's 2024. Maybe he was looking in the mirror of the passenger seat of the car and thought, I'm ashamed of my own whiteness. I'm a white devil. You get out of Harlem, you honky, and he's just looking in the mirror of his car like, you honky, get out of Harlem. You don't deserve to be in this black town.
It was crazy because it was like I looked up and it was very clearly not. I'm not saying he wasn't black because he very well could have been, but he was not a dark-skinned person.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking up expecting to see like this black man harassing me. It's like this fucking light-skinned, maybe what, I have no fucking idea because the car was moving so fast. But the fact that I visibly was like, that was maybe not even a black person. Like that was saying that to me. Was interesting.
Yeah, it's like when Jamie Foxx is riding up on a horse in Django Unchained, and he just looks at a bunch of the black people on the plantation, the slaves, and he's like, "Park my horse, N-word," and they're all like,
"Huh?"
What? They're looking at him like this guy knows what he looks like.
Yeah.
But he's like, maybe he was just like the guy who yelled honky at you in the car. Maybe he saw himself as
jump scared himself.
He jump scared himself, or he could be just a crazy person. Fucking,
he's just
having
stupid.
A flashback on psychedelic, whatever. Could probably not much going for that person in their
No,
life. I think
absolutely not.
I think that
he doesn't even have his own car. He's literally, what's that fucking song? Like, I don't want no scrub. He doesn't even have his own fucking car. He's in his best friend's fucking car.
Yeah. For the humor of the situation, though, the more successful that person is, the funnier the situation it becomes. Like if that was Eric Adams and rolled down the windows, like get out of Harlem, Honky, and you're like, was that the mayor of
He needs to get out of New York.
Yeah.
He's not even from New York, right? Isn't he from like Jersey or some shit?
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if it was like 2 Chainz or something. You're like, that's my favorite rapper growing up. He just called me a honky.
I don't know.
2 Chainz. Come on.
I don't know. I'm not that offended by it. I wanted to share that I'd never heard it before. It was a new experience for me. And yeah, I'll remember that one.
If he was lighter skinned though, and to go with the rapper metaphor, probably was someone more like French Montana, because 2 Chainz is too dark.
That was definitely
That's
like
the vibe.
the skin color of him.
Okay, so could have been like Arabic, Latino.
Who knows? I'm sure
black.
He was probably definitely not a white guy, because I don't think why would you say that if you're white? Like,
yeah,
he was not white, but he was a light skin.
Yeah. Did you give him a look in the immediate aftermath? Like was he there long enough for you to flash a stare or?
And I definitely looked up, but I had my sunglasses on, and I also think I tend to irritate some people because I'm chill vibes. Like, I used to yell back, but with that, it was like something I never heard before. So like, I'm not like as like quick to, I was kind of just like,
yeah.
and just kept walking. Like, that was new. That was a new one for me.
There are people who have wild nicknames. So now I'm thinking maybe there's another white person on the street. Maybe it was a white dude. His nickname was Honky.
And
he fought the dude in the car, and the guy in the car saw him, was like, you better never show your ass again in Harlem, Honky, or we're coming for it. And then and then that guy got scared. The white dude whose nickname is Honky sprinted off before you could turn around and see him. So you thought it was directed towards you.
That's what it was.
Definitely 99.8% chance is not what happened, but just one more possibility.
Yeah.
Eric Adams, French Montana, or there's another white dude on the street whose nickname was Honky.
I think he just doesn't like queer people that are white in Harlem. But I learned something new today.
That's the least funny and most accurate answer.
Yeah.
It's just a guy who is
That's
homophobic
my life today.
just slinging slurs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that
happened.
Ruined the vibe of your beautiful Harlem walk.
It didn't. It actually kept me very occupied, because then I was on the train, like, just Googling the history of this word and like, what does it mean? It actually, I thank him for teaching me something new today.
Yeah. Well, speaking of men doing questionable shit, I stumbled upon a story, and the title of this one is former model and Miss Switzerland finalist.
Oh, no. I think I know this story.
Yeah. Former model and Miss Switzerland finalist Christina Joksimovic was, quote, pureed in a blender by her husband.
Another fucking psychopath. Men, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Honestly, there's something wrong with your species, Zach. Something's not right up there.
Yeah, there's
what is it?
There's a lot of things that when things go wrong and there's a blender and a pureed human body involved,
how do you even
it's safe to say that things, went off the rails.
I tried to make a pesto sauce the other day, Zach, in the blender. And to make a pesto, at least this recipe, it was like cheese, walnuts, and like parsley,
and a human hand of a model.
That was like if you wanted extra flavor.
Yeah, extra seasoning.
But either way, like, just that was really hard for me to blend, because it kept getting like I kept having to add more oil and more water, because it was like just thick, you know, between the nuts and the cheese.
Yeah.
So and it took a lot of effort, kept having to scrape it and like get in there and mix it up. So I'm just wondering like that's why it was just the hand, because once he put the hand in, he was like, I can't do the rest of the body. Like, this isn't going as smoothly as I thought it was. Just kidding. R.I.P. I'm really sorry to this lady that's fucked up.
Yeah, no, she's, it's fine. It's
fine.
She's in a better, more liquefied place. But, I'm just picturing you making pesto sauce and then just getting angrier and angrier. And then you go out on a midnight mission to find the guy that called you Honky. And then he undergoes the same fate as this model.
Yeah.
I could see you going on a quest like that and just straight face showing up to a podcast the next morning and just, it doesn't even
I wouldn't
faze you.
feel bad about it, actually.
Yeah. It would make a good story for sure.
But I could never, I'm not that good with blood. But yeah, this is a crazy story. So please get into
let's find
more.
out what happened. So a former model who was a finalist in Miss Switzerland contest was allegedly murdered and pureed in a blender by her husband, officials in Switzerland have reported. Kristina Joksimovic, 38, was found dead in her home in Binningen near Basel, Switzerland in February this year. So she was 38 years old. At least her modeling career was over by then. She squeezed the juice.
Her prime.
She squeezed the juice of her modeling career by the time she ended up in a blender. So the thing that struck me was like, it says Kristina Joksimovic was found dead in her home.
Mm-hmm.
How are you finding a blended person dead? Like, was it in a NutriBullet canister or like in the guy's fridge? Like, where was someone
probably
just walking
still on
in
the
and finding
counter,
it?
Zach? Like, I know that's why I brought up the pesto, because I know that this must have been a really difficult. You can't grind up. You need a wood chipper is what you need. Your little household magic bullet is not going to be able to grind up bone.
Yes, but if the guy was not thorough and you got caught in the middle of it, then yes, you would find the person on the counter, or just, fucking like remains and shit splattered everywhere. Like you're trying to fucking gut a turkey live in your kitchen before you kill it. It would be a crime scene, because that's literally what it is. But if this guy was thorough, and it sounds like she was discovered, there was at least a few days or some weeks that had passed. I'm just wondering, like, what the first sign of there's a blended person in this guy's home? Like, did they see the body? Did they smell the body? Was it like a Dahmer situation where the cops walked in and were like, what the fuck? Like, and people in barrels? Did someone open the morning juice and they took a slug and they're like, that's not OJ.
Not beet juice.
That ain't OJ. But yeah, so it says here that according to the local outlet BZ Basel, which is a fun name for a Swiss newspaper, BZ Basel, a man named Thomas.
It actually is.
BZ Basel, folks.
Just,
Have you? It's such a nice. I was just reading BZ Basel this morning.
Yeah.
A man named Thomas, 41, had an appeal for release from custody while denied by the federal court in Lausanne, Switzerland, on Wednesday after he reportedly confessed to killing his wife, with whom he had 2 children. The outlet said he admitted to the killing during a crime reconstruction in March, and claimed it was in self-defense after she attacked him with a knife. He murdered and pureed her in a blender.
Men are like, I'm sorry, this person, I'm going to say not all men, most men.
Do you think
stupid? Like, because you don't puree somebody that like you tried to defend your life. Like, if I'm not thinking, if I literally am like fighting for my life, defending, like I'm gonna have defensive wounds and I do kill somebody, right? I'm like, oh my God, like I killed somebody. I don't go, you know what makes sense right now? pureeing this person
Yeah,
up. I've always wanted to just juice a person.
Just juice them a little bit, and you start on the first setting, and then you go to 3.
Like, you have it on the pulse setting too, because it's gotta like, like that's the thing. Like, what type of story is that to the police? Nobody is doing that. Nobody, and this is like the pureeing is extra to the. That's why this story's so insane.
Yeah.
But he's not the first person to like kill somebody and then dismember them. But these people, they're always like, oh, I was defending myself. Nobody dismembers somebody after they defend themselves.
Yeah. I also love how he claims it was self-defense, because if you're going to blend someone, blending stops being self-defense after you get through a couple fingers. Like if someone, if your wife charges you with a knife, and then you plug in the blender and you just fucking hold it up to her like a blender blaster, and she tries she tries to stab you, and you catch her hand with the blender, and then just like her blood is spouting through the fucking roof. You know, she's gonna be incapacitated. She's grabbing her hand for you to then just go, all right, well, I got 2 fingers. I'm still technically defending myself. Yes. Why not go the whole hand? And then you go the arm. And then you're like, well, I might as well do all the limbs now. And then your wife is just like a little torso on the floor. Just like, what the fuck is happening? You're a cannibalistic chef at that point. It's not self-defense anymore. Like you've become a connoisseur in cannibalism cuisine by pureeing your significant other.
Honestly, what's the link to the blender? Like, I want to know.
That's what I want to know too, because they didn't specify in the story.
What type of, like, this is like Gordon Ramsay, like industrial grade blender, or is this your NutriBullet? Like, how? So I need to know on the scale.
So by my, we've done a lot of murder stories on the podcast, so. There's context clues that people leave in the story.
You're basically an investigative journalist.
Yeah, there's no difference between me and a criminal investigator at the NYPD. We're the same thing.
Exactly.
I'm arguably more qualified because I'm looking at cases internationally. I'm an international crime investigator. Yeah. Together, we're going to solve this Swiss murder crime. So because it specifies puree mode, it can't be the NutriBullet, because the NutriBullet you just stick in and it just goes on one
fit
setting.
The hand in there, you'd have to like ball it up like a fist.
It would get annoying. Yeah, it's harder to scrape out the NutriBullet. It only has one setting, but a big industrial blender, it goes from 1, which is the low setting, to the medium blend, and then the 7 is the puree, like 7 to 10 when you're clicking down those little buttons. So because they use puree, I'm guessing...
This is more of like a Vitamix. Are you familiar with the Vitamix?
Is that like an industrial blender?
Like they're they look old school. They're like $300. They're nice.
Oh, wow, yeah. Like this would be in a smoothie shop.
But that's what I was trying to make. Yeah. So we have one in our apartment, and I'm trying to make a fucking pesto. It was being a bitch just trying to chop up, puree these fucking walnuts. Yeah. So he's still having a hard time with the Vitamix.
Yeah.
Do you think actually though this might be the first time anyone's ever tried this? Because I've never heard of a story about somebody putting someone in a blender.
I think if you, if you're gonna,
of course not. Somebody else.
I'm just saying this, like as a human being who has not committed murder in my life yet. I'm 30 years old. There's still hopefully a long time left. I think when you get older is when it gets more interesting, because it's like, how could this sweet old man murder 13 people? It's like,
make you tired of life anyway.
Exactly. I could get away with it later in life. But as of now, I haven't. But I do have, like, when you're a kid and you just have a sensory fascination where you go, okay, like, here's a bag of grapes. What would that look like in a blender? I think cannibals and psychopaths and just people that are trying to get rid of bodies, they're still one of us. Like, they have like,
we know, like Jeffrey Dahmer, they all start with animals first. Like, that's a clear sign of like a killer. Yeah, because they want to know, and then they do stuff like that. They're like, how do I chop this up? what is this like to burn?
Yeah.
What is this like to freeze? What is this? They're little killer scientists.
Yeah. Taking it to the real world.
They went down the wrong path.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how great they could have been in the science world or something.
Yeah.
And,
He's
instead they went down a dark road.
They're doing experiments. That's exactly.
It is.
Maybe this is like a diet cleanse gone wrong, because cleanse culture is huge now. You have juices, people doing everything to lose weight. Maybe because this guy's wife is a model, he goes, you are what you eat, and I want to look more like a model, so I'm just gonna,
Oh my
gonna juice my wife and add her to my
so
juice
messed
cleanse.
up.
That's cleanse diet culture has gone too far. In my opinion, I'm taking a bold stance against juicing models.
Yeah.
Bold stance. I just want to make that clear. I'm against juicing models. Cleanse culture.
That's good.
This is,
It's good to make that clear after you have like 10 zingers about this poor woman that has been murdered. This poor mother that's been murdered by her husband.
Yeah. To be fair, we don't know what she was wearing. So.
Oh my God.
So that is, I'm joking, folks. Hello, folks. But yeah, the fact that this guy is claiming self-defense is wild. There's some more details about the autopsy if you want to hear that.
Sure.
So again, BZ Basil said,
oh my God.
Swiss newspaper BZ Basil. I might subscribe after this.
Actually, though.
I can't read anything in Swiss, but I want that I want to get something delivered to me every morning that says that. They said the ruling from the court held Miss Joksimovic was strangled to death. An autopsy report included in the ruling that said her body was then dismembered in a laundry room. So accurate with the dismembering first. You got to. With a jigsaw, a knife, and garden shears.
Now, is a jigsaw like the old school saws? Like, what is a jigsaw? I only know the guy that rides a tricycle.
So,
okay. I've never seen one of these.
A jigsaw
before.
knife. Yeah, so there's a comma after jigsaw.
Whoa.
I think that's a typo. So I think that meant to say just jigsaw knife, not jigsaw comma knife.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, how are you doing? This is a crazy tool.
Yeah. Jigsaw knife. Type that in.
Okay. Well, it's just like a serrated
knife. Yeah. Garden shears. So, this guy, into gardening, a very peaceful activity turned not peaceful.
Oh my God. I just can't. I'm looking at this photo of her. She's a beautiful woman. Obviously, she was tired of his ass. Like that's how it always starts. Like whether he's just not getting the attention that he wants anymore, basically. Like he thinks she's going to divorce him, take the kids. She's maybe cheating. Like none of that even matters if any of that was true anyways. But that's always how it goes. Like I don't understand how you kill this beautiful woman and then like hack her up, and you share 2 children. Like what? Yeah. People are fucked up.
She just runs at him with a knife. I'm tired of your ass. And he's like, you know what I'm going to do to your ass? And just fucking plunges the blender into her cheek.
That's like just one of those crazy, like shitty horror movies that drop on like Amazon Prime sometimes. Yeah. They always have like weird
Sharknado.
Like
model
weird,
wife
that's
blended.
More like Hulu. But yeah, it's like these weird things. It's like, how does that happen? But in those weird horror movies, you could kill somebody with a blender.
Yeah. You know that like the fact that he was able to blend his entire wife after dismembering her, it's kind of like a low-key advertisement for whatever company he used for the blender. Yeah. So if it was a Vitamix, I think they should do some investigating and be like, hey, we're just reaching out to the Swiss police. We're just wondering what type of blender was taken into evidence. And then you could make some sort of, blending promo out of it where you go, hey, at Vitamix here, we're against blending human beings. Mm-hmm. But if you want to be the ultimate juice being, you can use Vitamix because it can crush human bones and it, can crush fish bones and, bone.
You're not supposed
bones.
to eat any of those things, though.
It can. You're not, but you could with a Vitamix blender. That's true.
I mean, yeah, he definitely. I mean, the thing is that he obviously, so say that she was like thinking of leaving. She's got a new man, and she's like, all that I want is just a beautiful blended family.
Yeah.
And he just totally misinterpreted the term blended family.
No, she's like, no, I meant mixed. I meant mixed families. He's like, no, you said blended first.
You said blended.
Yeah, I'm going to blend your ass, bitch.
Yeah.
So this the last part of this excerpt might shed some light on his thinking. So after he dismembered her in the laundry room with the jigsaw knife and garden shears, he added body parts that were chopped up. He added the chopped up body parts after putting them in the blender, pureed them, and then dissolved them in a chemical solution. So that was his ultimate goal.
Put chemical solution in with the blender, like so it would like kind of deteriorate as things are blending.
It's possible.
That would be
depends on which recipe he followed. Some have you add it into the blender. Some have you do it after.
You should add it in because it needs more, like it needs to be more liquefied.
Yeah. So he could have done either one. It says pureed and dissolved in chemical solution. So this could be a guy that has wanted to murder his wife for a long time. Maybe she wanted to murder him. And then he was late to the Breaking Bad train. He started watching Breaking Bad in 2024 and was like, hey, dissolving a guy in a bathtub seems like a lot of work.
It's not the first time anybody's been dissolved.
But yeah.
That's a common method.
A bathtub seems like a lot of work. Why not go blender? And so he was inspired by Jesse Pinkman.
I don't want
Walter White.
I feel bad, but I'm just wondering, like, how much liquid? Like, how much would you get? You would get
more
a lot.
Than you can imagine.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, you would get a lot. That's why I don't know how this was done. I don't understand it. But yeah, I would imagine. So I'm just thinking of Jeffrey Dahmer, and these killers have like those big, like rain catching like tubs.
Yeah.
Those big blue or black plastic tubs that you would.
I mean, if he was smart. So that's
a lot of liquid.
If he was smart, he did it outside in the garden because he had garden shears. He took it outside. He put up, fucking like plastic
like Dexter
sheets. Yeah, Dexter style.
Tarps.
Had a property where no one would be snooping around. Mm-hmm. He's probably in the mountains in Switzerland somewhere. Got it done. The last part of this, it says that BZ Basil also said Thomas was arrested the day after Joksimovich's body was found. So he did not do a great job.
That's because it's too hard to do.
Yeah. And he initially told investigators he had found her dead and then dismembered her body in the laundry room. And then dismembered her body in the laundry room in panic. So his story is like, oh my God, someone killed my wife. I have to chop her to pieces really quick and then blend her.
No amount of Adderall makes you want to do that.
Yeah.
Like no amount of Adderall is like, I just really feel like cooking right now.
Yeah. Just like, oh my God, my wife of 25 years is dead. Quick, let me saw off her foot and throw it in my NutriBullet.
Like he just came home from Best Buy with this new Vitamix and was like, I mean, I really wanted to use this today, and this is kind of a minor inconvenience that my wife is dead on the floor, but I planned on breaking in my Vitamix, and so now I just have to like, cross over and do both. I got to clean up my wife. I got to use my Vitamix.
Yeah. This and he also said that he found her and dismembered her body in the laundry room in panic, which to me means this guy was not a true serial killer. Like he didn't have the stomach for it, which is probably why he got found out so quick. Because
they never do.
If you're a Jeffrey Dahmer,
hardly do.
But if you're a Jeffrey Dahmer type, you're not panicking dismembering a body. Like that's like your like amuse bouche.
I mean,
you're like
maybe the first one. I mean, I did watch the documentary. The first one was, I mean, he did kind of kill the guy a bit in a panic, and then was like, okay, what do I do? But he had practiced on animals, so he kind of knew what to do. But
He probably
Yeah.
you got to have a soothing dismemberment playlist on Spotify. He didn't type in dismembering music into Spotify just to calm himself down, for sure. And just I feel like it's only fair to share some stuff about Joksimovich's life, who was the woman who was unfortunately resting in pieces in a blender. Thomas, who is a Swiss national, was reportedly arrested the day after her remains were found by a third party. According to a local outlet, Miss Joksimovic was crowned Miss Northwest Switzerland in 2007 and was a finalist for Miss Switzerland. She later ran her own business as a catwalk coach and mentored model Dominique Rinderknecht for the Miss Universe pageant, which she won in 2013. So, she was Miss Switzerland. She was coach. She was a mentor for future champion models. So, she contributed a lot to the model community.
And also just a mother. And now these two kids have 0 parents because their dad is a fucking idiot.
Well, there might be like 0.2 of her left, but it's not able to
do anything.
Be a mother, console.
Yeah. Poor kid.
Would you keep if your mom died like this? And let's say the details are hidden from you because you're young. And then let's say you turn 18 and then whatever family you go to, they say, hey, we got to tell you how your mom died. This is the reason why you're adopted. Like she didn't give you away. We just told you that. She was blended by her crazy husband, Puree, technically, yeah.
Gotta get the method right.
Yeah. The guy's like, actually, it's pureed. I want to be technically correct. The only thing left of your mother is her left foot.
Cold pressed
juice, which is scientifically tested. It's her left foot, but pressed into this juice can.
No.
Do you want it?
No.
Do you want to just have it?
No. Oh my God.
You don't know her. Like she died when you were 2. So it's
I
just
hope
like,
nobody's keeping that. That sounds atrocious.
Yeah.
Oh God.
So yeah, that's the story of former Miss Switzerland.
Don't worry, folks, because I've got a way lighter story.
Okay. Well, I mean, it could be lighter weight-wise because it doesn't involve a full-grown woman being blended, or it could be lighter emotionally.
It does involve a woman.
Okay.
Wow.
Speaking of.
Yeah, it does involve a woman.
In her human form.
In her human form, unblended.
Yeah.
Perfectly intact.
It's the first time I've ever specified unblended form.
So this week, as we know, football season is back in. Like it just kicked off last week. And yeah, so football season's back in. Of course, when football season comes around, you have like the standard talking heads that are always on ESPN and everything like that, including like Skip Bayless. Now Tom Brady's a commentator.
Yeah.
And Shannon Sharpe. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharpe. So Shannon Sharpe had a bit of a on Instagram Live this week.
Did his wife charge him with a knife and the only thing he had on him was a blender?
No, so I don't think Shannon's married. Shannon's single.
Okay.
So that's also an important thing to know.
He's also been killing it with the Club Shay Shay podcast. I think it's like the number 2 or 3 podcast now.
Yeah, so
Rogan.
Let's just, for those that don't know who Shannon Sharpe is.
Yeah.
Shannon's a former NFL player. He played for like 14 seasons, mostly on the Broncos. But he also did come over to my Baltimore Ravens and won a Super Bowl with the Ravens in 2001. He's kind of regarded as one of the best tight ends of all time. A bit before our time. I mean, we were alive, but like I still
know the legend of Shannon Sharpe and played with him in NFL Street.
See, I didn't play. I'm sure. I didn't play any of those football games.
And by the way, still looks like he could win and start in a Super Bowl today.
Yeah, he definitely looks great. Yeah. He is, aging, which is fine. He's 56 years old now.
Wow.
But he looks good.
Yeah, looks great.
He's great. So he had, but I mentioned his age being 56 because my dad is 61. once you're kind of in your 50s, like even now as like a 30-year-old, I don't even understand half the things Gen Z is doing online. I don't have the methods right. I don't know how to do stuff. So Shannon had a bit of an on Instagram Live, and he accidentally Instagrammed lived himself having sex with a woman named Michelle. And I know this because in the video, he's huffing and puffing and, throwing that house down. And at one point goes, "That's my Michelle." So I know her name's Michelle.
Wow.
We all know her name's Michelle.
So yeah, we know who it is. I'm curious what the angle, like the first thing is like, I want to know the angle. Was it looking up at him?
You can definitely, I didn't want to
get taken down off YouTube immediately.
I didn't want to get taken down off YouTube immediately. So I do have clips of kind of aftermath of it, but you can go online and find this video. So it's not, you don't see them in the video because this was an accidental Instagram Live.
Okay.
So he obviously, and we'll get into kind of what he said and like what happened, but he's a 56-year-old man. Like, he doesn't know how to do this shit. He's very rich. He has other people make content. He's not producing the content, okay? He was producing this content.
Oh yeah. He was producing, he was directing.
Yeah, he was.
He was fucking PA assist. He was all over that shit.
But he says he's never done an Instagram Live. Like, he has no idea how any of this even happened. But in the video, it's very clear. Like, the phone is kind of, phone just like on the table. Yeah. Like, imagine if I just put it on the table so it's looking up at the ceiling, or you just see stuff in the room. Nobody's in the video, but you can hear the video, and it's literally definitely them having sex, and he's throwing it down, he's huffing, puffing, he's breathing heavy.
I was gonna say, Shannon Sharpe does not strike me as a light breather.
He is growling like a grizzly bear at one point. Zach, he's like
how is that the exact voice I was imagining in my head? That is on point.
I have to admit,
is she giving it back to him? Is she like,
kind of. Now, I think some men may disagree with me, but she didn't sound like she was having like the best time, honestly. But I don't know. She was making noise, yes, but it just sounded like the type of noise that you make like when you got to go to work and get your bag because he's rich as fuck. He's not ugly. Like, he's funny. He's genuinely funny. I think
he seems
like a pretty
dude,
decent guy. Yeah. Like, I doubt it was torture for her. I'm just saying, she didn't seem like genuinely like, I'm getting railed, I'm having the time of my life.
I mean, if I saw the cock that I imagined Shannon Sharpe to have, and I was doing the math of how that's going to fit inside me, I might not sound too thrilled.
Oh,
also,
please.
I might.
It's not anything special. It's just a normal size penis. And women,
do you get to see it on the video?
No. He does not have men. It's rare that men have like this massive penis.
Let me, Shannon Sharpe.
Let me look up his normal size
height, weight.
And women also.
Oh my God!
It's not any bigger than mine. I'll tell you that.
He's 6'2", 230. I don't know what you have electronically.
That's what
in your apartment.
Saying. But women can easily, if women are aroused, like an 8-inch penis is nothing. Like.
Well,
I'm sorry to tell you this, but I just know from experience, like. It's not, he doesn't have anything like that's that crazy. He's a normal guy.
What do you consider to be crazy?
Anything above
4.8?
No, anything above
5.7?
No, a crazy
I'm
size.
out then.
Yeah.
I'm out. That's
so you have a normal penis. And just from my experience with all of my female friends, most men literally just have like a 5-inch dick.
Yeah, I mean
and that's normal.
I would say that 5 inches, somewhere between 5 and 6 inches is normal.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw myself right in there and say I have a normal sized dick, and that's
good.
why when you look at me and you say and I say I'm 6 feet, which really I'm 5'11 and a half, which means really I'm 5'11, and I'm 185 pounds.
I'm just kidding.
Not 5'10, 5'11 for sure. I could get away with 6'1, so I just say 6 feet.
Yeah,
that's why when I look at Shannon Sharpe doing a double bicep flex at 6'2", 230,
listen, he doesn't have a micro penis,
4% body fat.
But he just
Shannon
has
Sharpe,
a normal penis. It might be a little bit girthy.
I guarantee Shannon Sharpe has a hog. Shannon Sharpe.
It's probably girthy. I will say that
for
much.
sure. And if it's earlier on in a relationship, this girl could have been working to take it. Like this could have been like the grunts of someone who clocks in at the factory, and it's like it's going to be a long day. I got to
really
take this.
Overestimate I just think maybe men aren't turning women on that much. I don't know. I just know from my experience of putting things inside of women, when they're turned on, I could fit a lot of things in there.
I don't disagree with that, but what if so you have a different perspective because of being a lesbian. You're sticking things inside
all types,
other women, all types of things, sizes, shapes,
colors, textures.
You're not just spitting on that thing.
I'm experimenting.
You're fucking shoving in that thing.
I'm a scientist.
Yeah, you're no blender needed.
No,
you don't want it blended. You want the full force of whatever you're sticking in there.
I want all the raw materials.
Exactly. You want it to be in one piece. Unlike the guy's model wife. Who, and I think there are a lot of straight women out there who are not as much of a dildo connoisseur, a sex toy connoisseur.
You're right. That's
so
true.
like when they see an 8-inch cock in their head,
whoa.
It's like they're bending over, like they're starting to breathe heavy. They're like how am I going to take that? They're doing like dick mental math gymnastics in their head of like, okay, if I take this for 3 minutes, how much of my pussy is going to be left at the end of this? And
they might be sore.
Yeah, exactly. So I think in a way, lesbians are less intimidated by cock than straight women.
Actually.
Because most straight women are not taking things that could be confused with kitchen
totally
utensils.
Get that. Yes. Yeah. That is a very good point.
You have an evolved perspective when it comes to the gravitas of things that can enter the female being.
Yes, that's true. So Shannon these days is on ESPN, NFL Today. He used to be on Skip and Shannon, Undisputed, but him and Skip, I think just ran their course with each other and were always beefing back and forth. And so now he does, the podcast, and he does I don't know if that's the same as the talk show he does with Chad Ochocinco.
No,
which is
different.
Another NFL player, former Bengals player, maybe other teams, but I remember Chad Ochocinco more than I remember Shannon Sharpe in football world. Yeah. So when this happened, and I think this just happened on Tuesday or Wednesday this past week, Shannon originally said that he was hacked. And it was probably an honest statement from him because he genuinely had no idea how this happened. So he was saying on his show with Chad Ochocinco, and as you know, us young folk and people that are familiar with Instagram Lives, if I go on Instagram and I tune into someone's Instagram Live, I can leave comments on it. Yeah. So the whole time he's busy. You can tell he's very busy. He's got his hands full. Yeah. With Michelle, Michelle. Yeah. And so people are leaving comments. They're like, Unc, turn your phone off, Unc. They're like, please stop. This is too much. And
some people I'd be like, get it. Fucking
people
get
were.
That
they
shit,
were like,
Shannon.
Yes. So
give her that sharp D.
He said people thought he was bull driving. It was serious business what he was throwing down. But then he later.
I'm curious to hear this audio now. I'll listen at some point.
Yes, definitely. I encourage people to like look and listen. You could just tell like it's definitely two people having sex. There's a lot of huff and puffing and work getting put in.
Oh yeah.
Later though, he said that he's taking full responsibility, like it was him in the video. He said it was me being a healthy, active male. He also just mentioned he had no idea like what Instagram Live is, how he started it. He probably doesn't know how to operate it. He also said that, so like most rich people, he has multiple phones because you have like
changing
your phone
your number
for,
every like 3 months.
But also you have your phone for like your personal business, and you have a phone for like all your work.
Many
shit.
circles, yeah.
Yes. So he's like got one phone Instagram living him. And then so when I guess he's finished up, he's on his other phone, he's getting calls. He said one of his
and he forgot. So he probably was living before, forgot to turn off the
I
live.
think he just
turn it off.
He just hit a button.
Just accidentally. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't live.
Which I've done, by the way, once.
You can do a lot of stuff.
At least once on Instagram.
Yeah.
I've accidentally went live on Instagram, maybe TikTok once when I didn't mean to. And then YouTube, I've done that a couple times, uploading videos where I've gone live and it's like your live is about to start. So this is a completely plausible thing.
It definitely is, especially for a 56-year-old man that, first of all, he does have big hands. He's a football player, tight end.
Oh, yeah.
So
and you know what big hands mean?
He's probably got a
8.8.
girthy guy down there.
8.8.
So his thumbs are
around
hitting buttons. You know, the biggest iPhone that's out there, which are pretty fucking big these days, are still pretty small in his hands.
Oh, yeah.
He said that one of the first calls he got was from comedian Cat Williams, which is, you're in trouble.
Did he call him on his other phone, or did he try to join the live?
So
it's like Cat Williams trying to join
Cat
Shannon
calls
Sharpe live.
him on the other phone, and Shannon goes like, this is what Cat said. So he picks up the phone, and Cat goes, "You're not gay today."
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so I have some clips.
I hope he just hung up right after that. I hope that was all Cat Williams said, and he just hangs up immediately.
Shannon was saying that he was getting irritated because like he's getting all these texts being like, "You're on Instagram Live, turn it live, turn it off." He's like getting overwhelmed, and people are like, "We can hear you." He's like on the phone with people, and they're like, "Turn off your Instagram Live," which is on his other phone.
Yeah.
And so he's like, "What are you talking about?" And people are like, "We can hear you." He's like, "Hear me where?" He goes, "Hear me doing what?"
Doing
because
what?
You also know in your head, like, well, I was just pounding a woman approximately, literally like 60 seconds ago.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you just hear me?
Best 60 seconds of her life.
So I do have some clips that we can kind of listen to of him just addressing the video.
Yeah.
So we'll listen to the first one. It's a short. We can't get like copyrighted from his show. So it's a short 30-second clip of him addressing what happened. And then I have some other clips too. So give me just a second. Let's play this. YouTube's got to have a commercial. So here we go.
Even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level of professional, although I'm in the privacy of my own home. And I'm very disappointed in myself, not for the act. I think there are millions and billions of people of consenting age that engage in activities. But to have your most intimate detail on the audio to be heard, I'm disappointed in myself.
So I also love that because he's like, I'm actually not embarrassed for y'all heard me go to town. He's like, I'm actually proud of that.
Yeah. He
I'm
said
just embarrassed that people heard everything.
Yeah, he said it was a hack, and then he heard the audio, and he's like, "Oh no,
actually,
you could say it was me. That was me.
The thing is,
I'm gorilla fucking this."
There's
girl.
also no denying it because he has a very well-known voice. I mean, he represents, when all the girlies are like, "Oh, it's time for like cozy football season and all that." Like his voice is one of the voices you hear when you think football Sunday.
He calls his publicist and he says, "Hey, can we deny this?" And his publicist is like, "All right, here, listen to the audio." And it's just him going, "It's me, Shannon Sharpe, laying down the pipe on this bitch. oh yeah, take that club shay shay dick. Baby.
Yes.
He's like, all right.
Yes.
I guess I'll take credit for it.
So as I mentioned,
Can't deny it anymore.
There was a lot of huff and puffing going on. And I get it, because when you go to Pound Town, as somebody that has visited Pound Town, you do have to like put in cardio work. Like your heart's pumping.
Oh,
and he's not an active NFL player anymore. So, he's probably not quite as fit as he used to be. He's an older guy. So, you might be huffing and puffing a little bit. So I have a clip here too of him and Chad Ochocinco discussing what went down in the video.
To bungee jump in like that and be able to say some of the things that you were saying,
what was I saying, Ocho? What was I saying? I ain't hear it.
You was like, you gonna take this dick. Now, I'm just saying, I ain't never heard you talk like that. I ain't never heard you talk like that. Now, what we do got to work on is ain't nothing wrong with your hips, but we got to work on your cardio. Because you was breathing heavy. You shouldn't be breathing that heavy. So we got to work on your cardio. So,
Ocho,
when you lift weights, we got to get you on the cardio. Hit the treadmill first.
Ocho, real talk, Ocho, boy, hey, Ocho.
It's just very funny. So,
that's
he's just...
good point by Chad Ochocinco. If you're 58 years old, you can only put on so much muscle mass before it starts to take away from your cardio. You got to focus on your cardio as you get older. I haven't
Especially, as a big guy that like blood's traveling. Like he's a big guy. So that heart's putting in work.
And if you're Shannon Sharpe size, 40% of your blood is now in your cock. So it's not flowing through your lungs, not going to your heart anymore. You got to maximize that cardio. So I think he could probably turn this into something funny, like a partnership with Whoop.
Well, so wait. So I have information on that. So he already literally, like, first of all, ESPN does not plan to punish him at all for
as
this.
They shouldn't. He was laying down the
There's
pipe
not going to be any discipline
home.
for this.
Yeah.
They've already come out and said that. And literally next day, he's reading a Viagra sponsorship on the pod or on the show. Immediately they were like, absolutely.
Yeah, he's
he's going to have endorsements from Trojan, Viagra,
Blue Chew.
Yes, everything.
Oh my God. And he's like, look, you guys know I'm not lying. Brought to you by Blue Chew. I was laying down the pipe, breathing heavy, and that's why I want Blue Chew to get you hard as a rock, so you don't have to waste cardio time getting to that level. That's a good move.
So I do love that for him, that he's just kind of taking it in stride and now getting, in some ways it's like, are you serious? Like, people get fired for less.
Yeah.
And he somehow Instagram lives himself banging a woman consensually, which is great. But like then doesn't get like any, there's like not even a 1-day suspension.
Yeah.
They're like, actually, you're our star player.
Yeah.
Amazing work.
You're getting called up. He's re-signed the next day with the Ravens.
They're like, you know what I got from that video? You still got a little juice in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
look,
let's get you back out on that field.
You can't play all 4 downs, but we'll get you in on 3rd down and you'll move the ball for it. You got to get your cardio better if you want to play more, but we'll re-sign you for sure.
Yes. So I have one last clip, and I think that it's just important to make sure this clip is played too, because we don't want anybody to think anything else. So give me just a second.
You try to make light of it. Nobody was harmed in the making of this audio.
No. Well, I don't know. It's something.
She might have to put a little ice pack down there, but she good otherwise. Nope. You play a hard game, you ice. Basketball players ice their knees, they ice their ankles, the elbows and stuff like that, up and down. Football players. Okay.
Hey, she might be in this episode right now. Hey, she's in the episode right now watching the show. Hey, Michelle. All right. Heal up, sweetie. Heal up.
So it's just important to know that nobody was hurt in the making of that video.
Yeah.
It's a consensual video.
Yeah.
But he goes, nobody was hurt in that video. That's what he did on camera.
Well, you guys heard what I was fucking laying down. Might be a little sore now.
Gave the eyes to the camera because he's like, oh, nobody was hurt.
And
she might be a little sore.
She might be a little sore. And that's another sponsorship opportunity with a cold tub company.
Epsom salt, cold tub.
What better way to ice
packs.
What better way to ice that pussy than to get in a nice little cold bath, sitting there for 3 minutes, and then boom, you're ready to go for round 2. While Shannon Sharpe's recovering his breathing.
Yeah.
And he's going through that refractory period. She sits in the ice bath, ices up, boom, 3 minutes later, ready to go round 2.
Yeah.
Joint Blue Chew cold tub sponsor.
Yes.
Now I'm thinking like, he's, obviously Club Shay Shay's a really big podcast already, but it does seem to attract sponsors to accidentally leave your Instagram live on during sexual activity. Should one of us, which one of us,
like to try it out?
Which one of us is going to accidentally leave our Instagram live on to get a Blue Chew sponsorship?
You're going to have to make sure you get consent from Julie, your partner.
Yeah.
So, but I'll tune in. I'll be commenting for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Next time, if I go on Instagram and I see you on live, I'm going to immediately,
it's just Sam.
I'm going to be like, that better be what I think it is.
It's just Sam, at Sam Nash. Get it, Unk. Get it, Unk.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, this is harder than I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did see a screenshot of the live video, which, by the way, has 6,172 people watching. And it looks like it's facing either the ceiling or the floor.
Yes,
it's just wood. It's hard to tell. But I just wanted to read some of the comments because I thought it was funny. Sport Jared says, somebody hacked Unk with the crying face. Alpha Male Omega 69 just commented Michelle.
Michelle? It's like, which Michelle is it?
Brad's Worldwide commented, she's sabotaging my dog. So, if he thought she was, the one that turned his live on, but we know that's not what happened. Javon Brooks said, breaking news, y'all, shaking my head. And then D. Hay Ski said, Unk over with.
Except apparently not.
Now he's stronger than ever.
Yes.
So
some people, there is a co-star that does ESPN, host Michelle Beadle, and she's a white blonde lady. So some people were speculating, like, is it her? So I don't think. We wouldn't know. I don't think she would ever come out and be like, oh, that was me. Michelle is a rather popular name. It could be anybody. It's just she is getting some eyes because, they run in similar circles.
It says...
She says she tweeted yesterday or a couple days ago and said it was not me.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
But that's what they would all say.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's what she would say. Yeah, for sure. It just doesn't.
As the woman, I don't think you're gonna be like, oh, that was me getting my back blown out on Instagram Live the other day.
Yeah, maybe she was like, damn, Michelle Beadle's like, I'm disappointed in the sound effects I was putting out. Maybe if I was throwing it back a little harder, I would have claimed it. But I don't want people to know that, I wasn't, putting on a show.
Maybe I'm being too judgmental. I just didn't, maybe I've never recorded myself going to Pound Town. So I don't know what the sound effects. Maybe I'm judging and I don't know. I shouldn't judge the sound effects because I don't know.
Yeah, and people make all different, sounds and levels of intensity.
Seemed like it was a good time.
Yeah, there are people where it's like, I kind of compare it to watching comedy where there will be, maybe I'll be with a friend and we're watching a movie and I'm looking at their reaction. I'm like, oh, they don't think it's a good movie. And then after they go, oh, that was the funniest shit I've ever seen. And they're just more deadpan. And then you're with other people where they're laughing really loud. And then, you could tell it's sort of a fake laugh, fake orgasm. So I feel like there are girls and guys that are more
just
silent.
Chill.
Yeah. Like
that's the thing.
Inside
it's not
their head.
First rodeo.
Yeah.
Like they are, I don't know how old she was because we don't know who she is.
Yeah.
But he's 50 something. Like this is not their first time. Like they're experienced professionals. And I will say from the video, it's not like it sounded like it was an awful time.
Yeah.
It sounded more positive than anything. And so I think that Shannon's DMs are going to be very busy. I think they're going to be a busy place. Some other Michelle's like, wait.
Yeah.
My name's Michelle. You can call me Michelle if you want
to. Yeah. 100%. And, you know, maybe Michelle was just getting it blown out so hard she didn't have the energy to make sound. That's the other possibility.
Some sound.
But yeah, you know, there could have been a volcano going off in her pussy and she was like, I'm overwhelmed, but her voice just wasn't, you know,
I'm just happy for them.
Yeah.
I am happy that nobody was shown on the video because, especially for her, because right now her identity is protected.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. He was, as an experienced man, he was talking her through it, which I encourage men to do. I like talking during intercourse. I mean, I'm not trying to have like a whole conversation, but you know, sometimes you got to talk them through it. You got to talk dirty a little bit. He was talking her through it.
That's a great point because I feel like what people miss about this story is that this whole thing is a sexual education on proper communication.
Yeah.
In the bedroom. He's telling her, you know,
I think he was like, take that dick.
Take that dick, Michelle.
That's my Michelle.
That's my Michelle. Oh, you know, like a very secure,
what a sweet thing to
encouraging.
Say.
That's it's not your Michelle. It's not his Michelle.
In that moment, that's my Michelle.
And she's taking my dick and I'm communicating
I love this. That's my Michelle.
Yeah, I say Shannon Sharpe releases his own sex ed series.
I'm happy for him.
Audio only. Just, you know, maybe drop another IG Live and get some more sponsors and just like open up the door.
Maybe turn it on purpose this time.
Exactly. And just have the audio of how you communicate during sex in real time. Enlighten the brethren that are trying to up our communication game. I think, you know,
OnlyFans has probably reached out to him for sure already. Yeah. Like, hey, like, just so you know, you can get paid. Yeah. To do that next time.
And you will take audio only. You could just make it up. Right. You could just fucking just be pounding your fist.
Yeah.
Screaming.
He might have a job at Dipsy. Have you ever heard of Dipsy? It's like an audio porn.
Dipsy.
So people, like, it's not real videos or real porn. It's fake.
The
it's
first
like
thing that
scripted.
comes up is Dipsy to tell you something.
So it's Dipsy, like Dipsy. Sea as in the ocean.
Dipsy.
But yeah, so they've had some professional actors. It's all made up. It's scripted stories.
Spicy audiobooks.
Yes. So it's like just, like porn, like audio porn, but it's fake. It's acted by real voice actors. They've had actual like celebrities.
Yeah.
What's the one guy? So they've had Victoria Pedretti, who is another sapphic queen for me. She's been in like Haunting of Hill House. She's in a lot of those scary shows. You with Penn Badgley. And then what's that guy name? He's a light-skinned black man with very beautiful blue eyes. He was in Grey's Anatomy. What?
Grey's Anatomy, light skin, black.
Yeah, it's like a police
Jesse
report.
Williams.
That's him. And
came up immediately.
He does have a horse cock. Okay, because he was in Broadway and he was doing
For those of you watching, I did just lick my lips after she said horse cock. I was like,
you can get a look at it because he was on Broadway where he was nude and his wiener was out and flaccid and it was large and in charge. It was like a co-star on stage with him. It was its own being.
As a guy, I would want to ask him what percentage hard he was on Broadway because
maybe just a little bit. Yeah,
because
you're excited.
You could like up to 20 to 30% hard. You could get away with looking like you have a soft dick, but it's slightly fuller. Then once you're approaching 50% hard, it starts to raise up from the balls a little bit. Like once there's space between the dick and the balls.
I just imagine like the Undertaker, like
just starting to rise up. Just the eyes behind its head.
As a lesbian, that's how I imagine it. Like it has a mind of its own and it's just like the bell rings. Ding.
Not far off, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the sunrise would be the bell, and then morning would just be the Undertaker
Okay.
just rolling up.
Yeah,
and
that's what I thought.
Under the sheets.
Exactly
But
what I thought.
I feel like if you're going to be, you know, slinging Broadway cock, you got to be at least 20% gorged down there. That's what I would go for.
It was something. The ladies were aghast.
But still,
in
I
the
mean,
crowd.
obviously, if he has a huge dick, he has a huge dick. So 20% of huge is still fucking huge, even with a little boost. So
Yeah. So anyways, we digress. But so he was on Dipsy, and now, you know, maybe Shannon Sharpe will get himself a deal.
yeah. Except it'll be breathing only. The first Dipsy breathing only audiobook.
And the story is just going to be called "That's My Michelle."
Yeah, that's my Michelle. Oh yeah. You
love
ain't
that.
anyone else's Michelle. You my Michelle.
That's right.
Yeah.
In that moment.
And you gonna take this little Shannon. That's what I call my dick.
I hope not.
Little Sharp, little Shannon.
Little Sharpe.
Depending on the day. Sometimes on Tuesdays it's little
Yeah.
Sharp. Sundays it's little Shannon.
Yeah, not
But-
as sharp today.
But every day
It was
you
sharp
my
that
Michelle.
day.
It was sharp. I hope not. I hope it wasn't sharp.
Well,
going
just
in.
like I meant, like on point. You know,
Yeah.
you want to be like on point.
Oh
sharp.
yes.
You want to be
yes.
good with
Oh
it.
yeah, he was sharp. He was, you know, enhanced for sure, which is why I
Yeah.
got the sponsorship.
Yes.
So you know, you guys have gone on a long, hard journey with us today, from, you know, Shannon Sharpe putting in that work to the anonymous Michelle taking that work. You know,
That's
whoever
right.
she is out there, she's half of the story. So, you know, we want to give her credit as well. You know, and we took you guys through the wonderful world of, you know, model juice cleanse blending wives, people getting, you know, their lives ended in some of the most dietary ways possible, as
Very
you know, with
creative.
kitchen equipment. And you know, of course, the honky racial slur, which I wouldn't even categorize as a racial slur. It's more
It apparently is, but
technically it is, but it's like a 1.5 out of 10, I would say. It's like that's where you if you were going
Yeah.
to teach children in kindergarten about like how to sound out racial slurs, you'd start with honky
yeah.
before you get into like the more serious
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. No, I don't think any white guy has ever gotten in a fight over honky. Like if a white guy got called honky,
I don't think so.
I don't think other white guys would charge in.
No.
Like, would you just call him honky?
I'm about to take my honky ass all the way home.
Yeah.
Back to Harlem.
Yeah. I you know, if I was with you and someone called you honky on the sidewalk, first,
Honky?
yeah, more like hunky. Fucking double bicep.
Mhm.
But I would just look at the guy and be like, I don't know what your name is, but don't make me make you my Michelle. I'll do it.
That's
if you
funny.
open your mouth, say
That's right.
one more word to her, you're my Michelle tonight.
That's right. That's right. I hope that phrase like sticks with the world.
Yeah, regardless of what your partner's name is, if you're listening
That's
to this,
my
call them
Michelle.
Michelle tonight. Even if you're the girl and you're just going to town on your guy, call and say you're my Michelle.
Yeah. Tell
my-
if you love your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance,
Let her know.
let her know. Tell her that she's your Michelle.
Yeah, Shannon Sharpe sends his love, little Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for another banger of an episode. If you would like, you can rate us on Spotify and YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this. Please go subscribe or leave us a rating. It really helps people find out about us who don't already know the show. So if people search something like, model gets blended or my Michelle,
Yeah.
Lil Shannon, this episode will pop up higher in searches the more ratings that we have. So please go ahead, rate us, send it to a friend. You could subscribe to breakingtakes.supercast.com for bonus episodes, the ability to become part of the show. If you see stories during the week, like, Shannon Sharpe going to town or, whatever it is. There's another story today about like Lizzo losing 60 pounds and like all, like anything that you see. Yeah, she's flexing on us in her Bali bikini.
Damn.
She's
the new Michelle.
She's getting fit. Yeah, someone's gonna make her Michelle. She's probably gonna make someone else a Michelle.
Yeah.
She's gonna fucking She might have been the Michelle. Who knows? Maybe what's Lizzo's middle name? We'll
What's
find out about
Lizzo's
that.
real name?
What's her real name?
I don't know.
Elizabeth? It's a possibility.
I don't know.
But yeah, anything you see, if you're on breakingtakes.supercast.com and part of Breaking Takes Premium, you can suggest topics and stories to us to talk about on public episodes and premium, and that starts at just $5 per month. And yeah, just thank you guys for joining us on the ride. This is episode number 51, which
That's
is
right.
Fucking crazy.
We're doing it. How many weeks are in a year?
52.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
We'll almost have a whole year's
We're almost a
worth.
year's worth of episodes, plus the ones that are bonus episodes too. So
Yeah.
it's like close to 60, whatever it is, 10 bonus
Wow.
episodes. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Peace.